Iran has rejected a U.S. ceasefire proposal, escalating tensions in the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. The U.S. continues to press Iran to accept terms that include sanctions relief tied to restrictions on Iran's nuclear program and missile capacity, as well as control over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran, however, has countered with demands of its own, including the lifting of sanctions and demands for reparations. In a statement today, the White House press secretary warned Iran against miscalculating. This emphasizes the possibility of further military action if Iran does not comply with U.S. terms. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts continue with Pakistan involved in mediation attempts, though progress remains elusive. The conflict shows no signs of easing, with continued airstrikes and missile attacks reported across Iraq, Kuwait, and southern Lebanon. The U.S. military is also stepping up its presence in the region, deploying additional troops as a show of force. As the situation remains tense, both sides are bracing for further escalation. This highlights the ongoing challenge of bringing the conflict to a diplomatic resolution. The Department of Homeland Security's shutdown has now reached 40 days, leaving TSA workers facing another missed paycheck. Democrats and Republicans remain at odds over funding TSA without significant reforms to ICE enforcement, though some bipartisan meetings are underway. TSA workers have endured intermittent pay freezes for nearly half of the fiscal year, with many facing financial hardships such as eviction notices, car repossessions, drained retirement savings. As Congress prepares to recess for 2 weeks, individual senators are engaging in private discussions to explore potential compromises. However, no agreement has been reached yet. The ongoing political stalemate is straining TSA checkpoints and causing significant financial distress among TSA workers. The approaching spring travel season could apply additional pressure to resolve the shutdown, but with no deal in sight, the situation remains unresolved. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hezbollah has claimed more than 1,000 Lebanese lives, including 40 emergency workers. In Nabatieh, a town placed under forced evacuation orders by the Israeli Defense Forces, 2 civil defense workers were killed. The town's hospital staff continues to operate despite the danger, treating civilians and first responders affected by the war. Hussein Faki, a leader in the civil defense, described the devastating impact of an Israeli strike that injured 12 emergency workers. Faki noted that the Lebanese Civil Defense is a public emergency service dedicated to rescue operations. They were caught off guard by the targeting. Dr. Ali Omais, who oversees the emergency room at Nabatieh Hospital, highlights the relentless strain on medical staff. With hospital staff numbers reduced from 150 to 20 due to dangerous conditions, the hospital remains a critical lifeline for those who have stayed behind, and that's despite the risks. Dr. Omais has not taken a day off since the war began to ensure the safety of his patients and colleagues. The conflict challenges international law and protections for medical facilities and workers, as evidenced by the reported deliberate targeting of emergency responders and medical facilities. The Israeli Defense Forces have not responded to requests for comment on these claims. As the conflict continues, the bravery and sacrifices of Lebanese emergency workers remain a poignant reminder of the humanitarian efforts in the face of ongoing strife. The Justice Department has settled Michael Flynn's lawsuit for approximately $1.2 million, resolving the former National Security Advisor's 2023 legal case. Flynn sought at least $50 million in damages, claiming malicious prosecution in his criminal case. This settlement comes under the current administration, marking a significant shift from the Justice Department's previous stance. Under Attorney General Pam Bondi, the department has criticized the Russia investigation and has taken steps to address what it calls a historic injustice. Flynn pleaded guilty in 2017 for lying to the FBI about conversations with Russian diplomat Sergei Kislyak. The settlement acknowledges that the prosecution involved unproven allegations and reflects a reevaluation of the justice system's integrity. The resolution underscores the ongoing legal and political implications of the Russia investigation, which led to charges against 6 Trump associates. This includes Flynn. The Justice Department views the settlement as a crucial step in addressing past wrongful actions and ensuring the federal government does not misuse its resources. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth led a Christian prayer service at the Pentagon, praying for every round to find its mark against enemies. The service, which took place this month, includes references to Jesus Christ and has drawn scrutiny due to its invocation of religious rhetoric in a politically and militarily charged environment. Critics argue that Hegseth's practices may violate the separation of church and state. Americans United for Separation of Church and State has filed a lawsuit against the Pentagon, seeking to enforce public records requests related to the service's costs and attendance policies. Hegseth's affiliation with the Communion of Reformed Evangelical Churches, a conservative network known for its Christian nationalist stance, adds to the controversy. His services and remarks raise questions about the appropriate boundaries between religion and military leadership in the U.S. government. The lawsuit challenges the use of government resources and potential influence on federal employees. This highlights tensions around the separation of church and state. The case is pending and will be closely watched for its implications on religious practices in government institutions. Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Bernie Sanders have introduced a bill to impose a moratorium on new AI data centers in the U.S. until national safeguards are in place to protect workers and consumers and ensure the technologies do not harm the environment. The bill was introduced on March 25, 2026. In Washington, D.C., the legislation faces significant opposition from lawmakers of both parties and the White House, with many concerned about the economic and national security implications of limiting data center expansion. Democratic Senator John Fetterman and the White House have voiced concerns that a moratorium could cede technological advancements to competitors like China. Data centers, which consume large amounts of electricity, are causing rising electricity prices and raising environmental concerns. Communities across the U.S. are grappling with the economic and environmental impacts of data center expansion. This includes increased electricity costs and water consumption, and that's despite the strong opposition. The bill highlights the growing concerns about the rapid expansion of AI and data centers and their potential to reshape economic and democratic structures. Meanwhile, the bill is unlikely to pass. It underscores the need for public debate and regulation over AI and data centers to address these issues. First Lady Melania Trump brought a humanoid robot named Figure 03 to the White House for a global education and technology summit on Wednesday. The robot interacted with attendees, speaking in multiple languages before the summit start. Figure 03, a third-generation humanoid robot from Figure AI, a California-based startup, walked alongside Melania Trump as she entered the East Room. The robot thanked the First Lady and greeted the audience, emphasizing the importance of technology and education in empowering children globally. The White House event highlighted the role of artificial intelligence in enhancing educational outcomes and showcased technological advancements in education. This initiative underscores the growing integration of AI in everyday life and education. The summit is part of a broader trend in using advanced technology to improve educational opportunities for children around the world. The use of the robot at the White House underscores the significance of such technological advancements in shaping the future of education. The EPA has approved the sale of E15, a higher ethanol fuel blend, to help reduce consumer gasoline prices across the country. The decision aims to provide economic relief to consumers facing rising fuel costs due to the ongoing Iran war. Both Republicans and Democrats have supported this move, citing economic benefits for consumers and biofuels producers. However, critics warn of potential environmental and infrastructure issues with the expanded use of E15. The blend has been restricted in warm weather due to environmental concerns, but this temporary waiver allows for wider sales. The move could benefit corn growers and biofuels producers by increasing demand for ethanol. However, there are concerns about the environmental impact and potential risks to older vehicles and equipment. Additionally, the increased use of corn for ethanol may contribute to higher food costs. As the policy takes effect, stakeholders are watching to see how it will balance economic benefits with potential drawbacks. the acting head of the Transportation Security Administration, HANU, in McNeil, reported unprecedented passenger wait times at U.S. airports due to the ongoing government shutdown, now in its 40th day. Multiple airports are facing more than 40% call-out rates, with over 480 TSA officers having quit their jobs. McNeil warned that the shutdown is leading to significant hardships for TSA workers, many of whom are struggling financially. Some workers have resorted to plasma donations to make ends meet while continuing to work under extreme stress. The shutdown has also seen a more than 500% increase in assaults on TSA officers since it began. Jim Chesniak, the aviation director at Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport, highlighted the growing security risks, noting that travelers are waiting up to 4 hours or more at security checkpoints. Lawmakers remain at an impasse, with no compromise in sight despite recent legislative proposals. House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune have pushed for funding without significant changes to immigration enforcement. Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries argue for more substantial reforms. With the partial government shutdown showing no immediate signs of ending, concerns grow over potential airport closures and broader security risks. Lawmakers are urged to address these issues urgently to prevent further deterioration. Representative Jamie Raskin has released a letter alleging that President Donald Trump showed a classified map during a 2022 flight to his New Jersey golf club. The letter cites a Department of Justice memo suggesting that Trump may have retained sensitive documents pertinent to his business interests. Raskin's letter claims that the classified map was shown during a flight in June 2022. The memo also indicates that Susie Wiles, who later became Trump's chief of staff, was on the plane and witnessed the incident. The White House has dismissed these allegations, calling them baseless and politically motivated. A White House spokesperson stated, "President Trump did nothing wrong, and his election victory in November 2024 proves it." The case against Trump was abandoned after his election win, with the Justice Department citing long-standing legal opinions that prohibit the indictment of a sitting president. However, Raskin has requested more information about the passengers on the plane and the nature of the classified map. These allegations highlight ongoing debates about transparency and accountability in the handling of classified materials, and their potential legal implications remain unresolved. Savannah Guthrie, co-host of The Today Show, has issued an emotional appeal for information on the whereabouts of her 84-year-old mother, Nancy Guthrie. This was reported missing from her home in Arizona on February 1, 2026. Guthrie spoke on the show on March 25, pleading with anyone who has any details to come forward. Security footage indicates Nancy Guthrie was likely taken against her will. Since her disappearance, Savannah Guthrie has taken time off from her duties to focus on the search for her mother. A full interview with Guthrie is scheduled to air on the Today Show Thursday and Friday, providing further details on the case. Guthrie expressed the family's agony, saying, "We are in agony. Someone needs to do the right thing and come forward." She also emphasized that no detail is too small in the search for her mother. Authorities continue to examine the leads, but the investigation remains at a critical juncture. Community support and assistance are crucial as the family remains hopeful for Nancy Guthrie's safe return. Savannah Guthrie urges anyone with information to contact the authorities immediately. The UN General Assembly adopted a resolution declaring the trafficking of enslaved Africans as the gravest crime against humanity and calling for reparations. The resolution passed with 123 votes in favor, 3 against, and 52 abstentions. Countries voting against included the U.S., Israel, and Argentina. The resolution urges the restitution of cultural items to their countries of origin without charge and calls for reparations as a step towards remedying historical wrongs. It also aims to promote reparative justice, education, and reconciliation regarding the transatlantic slave trade. This move reflects a global acknowledgement of the enduring impacts of slavery, including racial discrimination and systemic inequality. Diplomatic sources noted the significance of the resolution in affirming historical truths and promoting healing and justice for the descendants of enslaved Africans. The resolution is not legally binding, but serves as an important reflection of world opinion on addressing historical injustices. The vote took place on the International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. The United States and Iran are engaged in indirect peace talks through intermediaries like Pakistan, but significant disagreements remain over key issues. The United States is pushing for an end to Iran's nuclear and missile programs. Meanwhile, Iran demands the lifting of sanctions and recognition of its sovereignty. The United States has proposed a 15-point plan aimed at dismantling Iran's nuclear capabilities and ending its support for proxy militias. Iran, however, is calling for war reparations and a United States military withdrawal from the region. These divergent demands highlight the complexity of the negotiations. Gulf Arab states concerned about Iran's growing influence are watching the talks closely. Continued conflict between the United States and Iran could lead to increased United States military presence in the region. This raises risks of further escalation and impacting global energy markets. As the negotiations proceed, both sides face challenges in bridging their positions, with each side emphasizing its own version of progress and remaining cautious about the potential for further developments.